you ever feel tired, foggy, or get that strange tingling in your hands or feet? But when you finally get your blood work done, your doctor says, no, it's fine, everything looks normal. But it's one of the most frustrating situations because you know something's wrong, but the test results just don't explain it. Well, one of the most common culprits is vitamin B12. And here's the problem. The standard test that's used for B12 often misses deficiency, which means thousands of people are walking around undiagnosed. Hi, I'm Sonia Hollis, a qualified nutritional therapist, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the best ways to test for vitamin B12 deficiency. I'll explain why the standard blood test often isn't enough. We'll look at better functional markers that reveal what's really happening inside your cells. And I'll share some practical steps that you can take to get the right tests and interpret results properly. And if you're new here, I've already made a video on the 7 warning signs of B12 deficiency. I'll link that for you below because that's the perfect place to start if you're wondering whether or not B12 could be behind your symptoms. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss my weekly science-backed health tips. Okay, let's get started. The first test that most doctors order is the serum B12 test. It's basically a snapshot of the total amount of B12 floating around in your blood. But that sounds simple enough, right? But here's the problem. Around 80% of that B12 is bound to a protein called haptocorrin, which your body can't actually use. So your result might look normal on paper, but inside your cells, you could still be running on empty. This is one of the reasons why so many people with fatigue, memory issues, or nerve symptoms just get told everything looks fine. So here are some lab ranges for you. Above 250 picomoles per litre is considered normal. 150 to 249 picomoles per litre is borderline, and below 150 picomoles per litre is deficient. But here's the catch. Many functional medicine practitioners argue that anything under 300 picomoles per litre can still cause symptoms, especially if other markers are off. And if you want to know why absorption can fail even if you're eating enough B12, I've covered that in my video here, the 6 hidden blockers of B12 absorption. I'll link it in the description below so you can watch it after this one. So really, serum B12 is a starting point, but it only tells part of the story. If your results are borderline or you still have symptoms despite normal levels, here are some tests that can give you a clearer picture. Think of homocysteine like a traffic jam. So normally B12, folate and B6 act like traffic officers, keeping everything flowing. But when B12 is low, the traffic piles up. And that build-up shows up as a higher homocysteine level on your test. Now, normal ranges are between 5 to 15 micromoles per litre, but many experts consider anything above 13 to be too high. If your B12 is low, homocysteine tends to rise. But beware, high homocysteine can also be due to kidney issues or low folate, so it's not perfect on its own. Methylmalonic acid, so MMA. Now, MMA is like the smoke alarm for B12 inside your cells. When your cells don't have enough usable B12 to process energy properly, MMA builds up, and that rising is the alarm bell. Normal levels are usually below 260 to 350 nanomoles per litre, depending on the lab. If MMA is high but serum B12 looks fine, it's a strong clue that a deficiency is happening at the cellular level. And kidney problems can also raise MMA, so the context matters. Holotranscobalamin, the active B12. Now this is the fraction of B12 that your body can actually use, the usable fuel in your tank. Now, total B12 is like measuring all the liquid in your car, including what is stuck in your pipes. So active B12 is the actual petrol ready to burn. So research suggests that this is one of the earliest markers to drop when deficiency starts. It's the most accurate single test for usable B12. So putting the test together, we've got total B12, a good starting point, but it's not the full story. MMA and homocysteine, which has better functional clues, and active B12, the clearest picture of usable B12. The best approach is a combination of tests, especially if you're in that borderline zone. If your doctor only checks for serum B12 and you're still symptomatic, it's worth asking about these additional markers. I've seen cases that when someone's serum B12 came back at 280, so technically normal, but when MMA was tested, it was over 500. And that explained their fatigue, the memory lapses, and nerve tingling perfectly. Another key issue is how results are interpreted. Conventional medicine often waits until B12 is very low before diagnosing deficiency. But functional practitioners look at the whole picture, the symptoms, the ranges, and patterns, and often flag issues earlier. So it's important because long-term B12 deficiency can cause irreversible nerve damage if it's missed. So don't just look at the number, look at how you feel alongside it. Sometimes, even if you're eating plenty of B12, absorption can still be a problem. And that's where genetics and gut health comes in. For example, I've done my own nutrigenomic testing and I actually carry changes in the FUT2 gene, which are linked with lower B12 absorption and a higher risk of stomach issues like H. pylori. But that means I'm more naturally prone to being low on B12 unless I stay on top of it. I also carry a variant in the MTHFR gene, which slows down how efficiently I convert folate into its active form. So since B12 and folate work hand in hand, this makes balance even more important for me personally. But on the flip side, my TCN2 gene, the one that controls the B12, how that's transported into cells, is normal, so that step isn't a problem. I share this because it shows you how your genetics can make such a big difference in how much B12 you actually need, how well you absorb it, and how your lab tests should be interpreted. And if you're curious about your own genes, I offer nutrigenomic testing in my practice. So if you'd like more information, I'll just pop a link in the description below. On top of genetics, gut health can also play a huge role. So conditions like celiac, Crohn's, SIBO, or low stomach acid can all block B12 absorption. And if you've had part of your stomach or small intestine removed, absorptions will always be reduced. This is why some people need lifelong supplementation or injections, regardless of how good their diet looks on paper. So here's a simple action plan that you can follow. Start with a serum B12 test. It's widely available and it's usually the first step. If your results are borderline or you still have symptoms, add MMA and homocysteine. This gives a functional picture of how your body is actually using B12. And if possible, request active B12. It's the clearest snapshot of usable B12. If the levels still don't make sense, dig deeper with genetics or gut health testing. Sometimes a problem isn't intake, it's absorption. So think of it like layers. Start with the basics, then add detail of things if they don't add up. So in summary, the best test for vitamin B12 deficiency isn't just one test. It's a combination of markers that give you the real picture. Serum B12 is a good first step, but it can miss problems. MMA and homocysteine reveal what's happening at a functional level, and active B12 can be the most reliable measure of usable B12. So if your levels are borderline but you don't feel right, push for more testing because catching deficiency early can protect your energy, your memory, and even your long-term nerve health. And once you do have the results, the next question may be, well, what supplement form is best for me? I've covered that in detail in the video here. Again, I'll link it in the description below. So that's it for today. I hope you found this helpful. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and check out our other videos on this channel. All right, take care and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.